Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. So today we're going to be discussing the quarantine life. Part of it is going to be life in a pandemic and how do we get here. And of course, with me is going to be my co-host, my sister Yvonne. And with that, let's go ahead and get started on today's topic. So Yvonne, how are you?
I'm doing great. Sarcastically.
Oh my God. So Yvonne, it's been 6 months since our last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think, was it February or January? No, February was the emergency situations one.
Yes.
And then January was the pandemic one.
Yeah. Yes. No.
Yeah?
Ooh, okay, since our last podcast.
Since our last
how about that?
Of which both...
Since our last spring podcast.
Spring podcast. There you go. We are in fall now. Yes, I agree. I agree. Seasons, wow. We've gone through 2 seasonal changes. And we're still in a pandemic.
And I haven't seen my office since March.
Oh my God, yes. You have not been in your office since March at all.
Yes.
Oh my God. No.
It's been an adjustment.
Now, would you say, have you been happily adjusted or...
I don't know. Like at first I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to be productive and everything. And we'll get to that during the podcast. But I feel like this pandemic is sucking the life out of me.
I feel you.
I think everyone feels.
You know what? I feel like we're all over this pandemic. We kind of want to just pretend like it doesn't exist. Even though...
And then if you go, you go. And that's why the government sends you, do you want to get life insurance?
Oh my God, yes. They've been sending those to mom. I'm like, what are you trying to say?
Exactly.
What's wrong with you? Okay, so I guess we're going to go ahead and just get down to the meat and bones of this. Let me ask you the first question, the first real pandemic quarantine life question. So what has changed for you during this pandemic, Yvonne?
Honestly, I think mentally, like, I feel overwhelmed, especially with everything that's going on. So mentally, like, I thought this year it was going to be great. You know, the holidays, every holiday seemed to fall into the weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
3-day weekend, yeah. But it's just like...
I feel like everybody... I guess from my personal experience, is that when they told us, which actually my last day in the office, prior to this, when we got sent on lockdown, I guess during lockdown or prior to lockdown, was March 13th, which was Friday the 13th, which is, you know, basically a, what do you call it? A taboo holiday or one of those...
superstitious holiday.
Yeah, there you go. Superstitious holiday. So I'm like, yeah, that is true. It happened on Friday the 13th.
Como
The cumbia. Listen to the cumbia mix.
Oh, the Halloween?
Yes, that's a better one. Oh my God. But yes, I agree. Mentally, you know, and you know what sucks? Everybody's birthdays.
Yeah.
Have been in quarantine. Like April was the worst. It sucked, Yvonne. It really did. To just...
I mean, this year I really wanted to travel,
and it
like
sucks.
I was either gonna travel to Vegas and gamble. Yeah. I already have my savings.
Yeah, to go.
Or I was gonna go out of the country, but I was gonna. Yeah, somewhere. Exactly.
Yeah, because now we had the money and the time. We accumulated some vacation time. You know, everything's like, all right, it's time. Let's go. Yeah. And then next thing you know, bam, coronavirus.
I have over 140 hours of vacation time, and I barely used 24.
I think I have like 110. I'm not really sure how much I have, but I know I have some.
It's just crazy because, like, you want to use it, but then what do? You can't do anything because you know that people are not taking care of themselves.
No, I've seen a lot of, like, you know what I think the worst thing is about, I guess, some of the changes? It's not so much the mask wearing. It's the fact that certain people refuse to wear the mask. And then here you are like a dumbass wearing a mask. And then here's the thing. I feel like if they would have lied to Americans and said, yeah, if you wear a mask, you're going to be protected from the virus. Oh, okay, then I'm going to wear a mask. But you know how selfish we all are. So the minute they said, yeah, if you wear a mask, you're gonna save somebody else, but not yourself, because it doesn't really do a difference for you unless the other person's wearing a mask too. Mm-hmm. Then it's like, what's the point?
What's the point of me? It's like that little scene in Malcolm in the Middle. Well, why do I have to get a job and get car insurance when the other person has coverage?
Thank you. That's a great metaphor for that. Yes. So I feel like that's one of the things that they should have lied to us during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Because think about it. Had we all listened to the scientists, we might have been open by now.
It's not so much as lying to us. It's a fact. It's science.
No, but what I'm saying is they had to lie to us because they're telling us it's going to protect somebody else, but we're selfish. Mm-hmm. So we're like, I'm not going to wear a mask if it's not going to protect me. What's the point if the other person's not wearing a mask?
But they had originally said that it only affected older people. So that, I think that's where they should have said it affected everyone.
And I feel like, because they keep going back and forth with the World Health Organization. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess some of the changes, more noticeable is like physical changes. I have had sleep deprivation, acne from wearing the mask. Oh my God. I've been breaking out like crazy. Yeah. Like, this is the most I've broken out, like, in a long... Since I was working on my thesis. Yes. That was a worse outbreak. This is that, basically. Yeah, that time. But I guess...
Yeah, but it has been an adjustment, and it's not going to change overnight. This is something that's never going to go away.
You know, they're saying that it's going to probably linger till 2024.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do 2024, fun. I got stuff to, places to go.
That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
Oh, my God.
You should take precautions. Be precautions.
I took care of that thing for you. But yeah, and I mean, I guess the other big thing with the whole pandemic, not only has it been like mentally the changes, like anxiety, stress, depression, anger, because remember there was an increase in domestic violence. Mm-hmm. I think at the beginning of the pandemic, like when we were in lockdown. Yeah, when we were in lockdown, mm-hmm. It was we had apparently an increase in domestic violence all over the place in the U.S., which is bad. I mean, obviously it's bad, but I guess that's one of the cause and effects of it. But then again, when you think about it, that was already kind of there prior to the pandemic. Mm-hmm. The pandemic was just a trigger for it. Yeah. So I guess the biggest changes for that, though, has been our view on politics.
Oh, yeah, and how incompetent our
leaders
are, and how our system is failing us.
God. Contingency plan is gone out the trash because this fool threw the contingency and all the people that set up the contingency plans out thinking he could save money, which has now cost us more money.
Double the money.
See, that's when you don't get insurance for a house and then you see it down and it burns down, now you got no money to build it back up. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. That's not coronavirus. I drank water and, I started coughing. That's the other thing too. You can't even cough in public anymore without people giving you a crazy look.
Yeah. I was going to say, bitch, you have coronavirus?
No, that's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's a serious condition.
That's why I'm doing my will, man. Y'all think I'm playing.
Oh my God. Apparently, a lot of people have now actually considered doing a will due to the pandemic.
And I don't have anything of value, nothing at all. But it's just like...
your last, I guess, wishes. Because they have had a lot of family members. I read about one where there was like a family that they basically, they didn't know what their parent wanted as a last wish. Mm-hmm. So they had nothing to go by. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, it really makes you think about this.
And then the news was saying earlier during the spring, the news was saying, oh, record yourself, just what you want for your funeral, what you want
You know, it takes me back to what grandma was saying, Yvonne, about, she's like, oh, I already told them what I want specifically and I have it written down. I'm like, damn, grandma. But I'm like, damn, that's somebody who wants that a specific,
knows what they want.
And she's realistic about it. Right on, grandma. But anyway, so I guess, not to deviate off a topic, going on to the next question. Who do you think the blame should be placed for the current place the United States finds itself in? Because we're the only country that has seen the highest peak versus all the other countries.
Oh, yeah. Everybody else is having vacation time, going to beaches. Meanwhile, we're stuck here because our incompetent president is not doing what he's supposed to do as oh my God, as a leader. But I think the blame goes to,
like, if you had to choose somebody, like, where would you pinpoint that?
Oh, I know where I pinpoint.
Okay, well, where
is
the
Democratic Party in 2016.
Oh, the DNC, whole DNC fiasco.
Yes. If we would have gotten a proper leader to run as a Democrat, we wouldn't have been dealing with this. I mean, excuse my language, but I've had it up to here.
God. So basically, you're saying,
so they cursed us, they ruined us those 4 years, and George Bush predicted this.
So basically, how do you predict this?
He mentioned that we need to prepare ourselves for a pandemic, and then Obama kind of also mentioned that.
No, Obama predicted it. He had already said that the scientists had told him, ever since the whole Ebola thing, even then, he's like, there was going to be another one. So he made not a coronavirus task force, but he made a contingency task force.
No, but I think it was George Bush.
No, he had already said it. And then he left it because, when there's an exchange in office, the previous president leaves a note, basically like a letter, a recommendation of how to lead the country based on what his past 4 years or 8 years or however he served. And then one of those was, he basically told that to Obama, and Obama kept that. And then after the Ebola scare, that's why we were prepared for the Ebola scare.
With the supplies and everything.
With the supplies and everything. And then even then, Obama's like, no, the Ebola scare was the one that, like, no, there's going to be one. It's going to be worse, so we need to prep for it. And then this fool going into office, because he's trying to undo everything that Obama did, he basically got rid of everything.
And whose fault is that? Is the Democratic Party, because they weren't competent enough to elect a leader. Instead of electing Clinton, they should have focused themselves and elected somebody that would have been a great competitor.
Honestly, the reason they didn't want to do Bernie, because Bernie had the support. At least from the people. Because allegedly he's very difficult to work with on any resolution.
Yeah, but if you're a party that wants to win and you're willing to win, willing to do, example, Trump's Republican Party was willing to do threw their morals out the window and they won. That's the end result.
You know what? That's why Ted Cruz's wife is ugly.
That's why their party is winning. That's why we're getting all of these bad decisions, and that's why
the president said.
Exactly. So the very first thing that I put the blame in the very beginning is the Democratic Party. Yeah, I didn't want to bring politics into this.
Well, I think
table.
Politics plays a huge role.
It has played a huge role, because you see all those leaders that you elected, that you as the public elected. There you go. That's all I have to do. If your city is going downwards, going in a negative direction, then it's because you voted for that person, or you didn't vote for that person.
It goes back. Well, yeah, we didn't vote.
Exactly.
I'll go ahead and fully disclose that I personally did not feel. How do you say it? Did not feel patriotic or encouraged enough to go and vote for neither Hillary or Trump. So yes, in theory, I guess you could say that I was a silent vote. Of not voting. It was a silent protest. Of which I found out apparently there was many of us that were silent protesters.
So which is why do you conclude that? Because there was not a strong there was no strong leadership for either parties.
But I mean, you could say that about it now too. Like, I'm not as confident with Joe either. but I'm gonna go vote because I'm tired of having Trump loser in the office.
Yeah.
Especially given the news scandals that came out, which is going to be brought up in another podcast, by the way, y'all.
But that's the only way. I think that's the only way that they were willing. They might win, and I'd say might, because if Trump wins office, then I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, basically Russia won it for him last year, but whatever.
Yeah,
anyways,
exactly.
I'm not gonna get to that.
But I go back to the question: who is to blame? Is the Democratic Party? They got overconfident. They elected a wrong leader, or potential leader. And don't get me wrong, I wanted a woman to win, but it's just that it needs to be the right leader, whether you're female, male, gay, or whatever, straight, whatever. I don't care. But it's at the end of the day is whether you're a right leader. And that's what they didn't do. They didn't elect the right leader in their party. Yeah. Therefore, you have these Trump supporters voting that gets the majority. Oh, I'm going on a rant.
Yeah, I know. And then the thing is with it is, like I said, it's just there was so much going against her already. Yeah. She had already lost out previously on the previous nomination votes. So I'm like, that wasn't our strongest candidate to begin with. Not to mention that the whole DNC corruption scandal that emerged, it created so much misinformation and distrust that somebody like me felt compelled that I didn't feel comfortable, because regardless of whoever you voted in, you still felt like you were gonna get screwed over somehow.
Exactly.
But whoa, did we not see it get screwed over this way? Because Donald Trump pandemic takes the cake on that. You telling me this player?
Icing on the cake.
This player had a whole
my God! You know who won at the end? The news.
Oh, see,
they're having a field day.
I mean, honestly, I've been glued to the news more than I would like to be or admit to. But yes,
and they're having a field day. This summer alone, there was a lot of hurricanes happening around the U.S. and also the fires. But the main coverage that has been consecutively every spring and summer of this year has been the election coverage and the Trump administration.
Election in November.
Exactly. So they're having a field day for the news.
They are having fake news. And, and. Can I just say, just to close out this one, the statement here or the question, whatever. Can I just say that it was the media that led us to believe that we didn't have to vote because Hillary Clinton had it in the bag, which goes back to she did have the popular vote, but she didn't have the electoral college vote. So I'm like, now this year everybody's so paranoid that we're all willing to risk a pandemic.
Yes.
To make sure we don't have to deal with 4 more years of crazy.
No.
All right. Well, I guess the next question is similar to close to this one. Why have we been the last country to adapt to the pandemic? I know the biggest push or the biggest reason is because, and especially the whole world looks at us like we're stupid, which a lot of us are, honestly, is the refusal to wear a mask.
Yes, that's ridiculous. If it's something for your health-wise, it's common sense that you're going to do everything to prevent from you getting the disease.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't prevent you. It prevents you from giving it to others. That's why.
Oh, then why am I wearing a mask?
Exactly.
I don't need to wear no mask.
That's the thought process of a lot of people. And which is why I was saying Americans are selfish. It's because we're selfish.
No, yeah, we are selfish. And for a long time, we were... everybody looked up to us, but which is why I don't understand why, if they had cool countries like
Sweden.
Exactly. I feel like that was actually my destination country to have a vacation. Yeah.
Legally smoke pot over there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, Canada's another cool country. Why aren't they the leaders? But no, because everybody looks up to us. So now we should set the example, and because we believe that we're
well, I don't know about everybody looking up to us. I feel like we have a very big influence, or had a very big influence.
Yeah.
Culturally.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay. And
but if you have a big influence and you have celebrity, wear a mask, saying you over Hollywood and whatever, then their celebrities are huge. Hollywood is influenced. Exactly. So, of course, and then a lot of our influence comes from fashion, Hollywood, and stuff like that. Not political wise, because they hate us politically. But if everybody's it, and I feel like everybody was looking up to us to see, oh, what are they gonna do? But the minute that they said, wear a mask, and then we're protesting over here, it's like that's when everything
No,
went crazy.
The protest, that's a whole nother thing.
No,
right
no,
there.
I'm not. I'm talking about the minute that people started protesting on the mat. There was a period.
Okay.
You're forgetting that. You're overshadowing because of the Black Lives Movement. Because this year has been a full year of events. But let's not forget about that brief period of months in which people went out in the streets of Chicago and they started protesting for not wanting to wear the mask.
Oh yeah, before that were in a lot of capital cities.
Yes,
they went and protested without a mask right in front of the police officers. Didn't they take guns too in Texas?
Yeah, and then I think it was Chicago. I don't know. One of the governors had to, or I don't know, a government official. They had to hire security guards or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that one. I don't know where it was, but I remember.
Yeah, I thought that was like they were kidding, but then I saw that 3 guards were guarding the Capitol or whatever, and they were with guns and everything, and they didn't look military. They just looked like average Joes.
Yeah, that I don't get that, but I guess you're right. There has been so many events this year that that's gonna be another podcast, by the way, y'all.
Yes,
if y'all wondering.
But everything's getting overshadowed, and I can see why you were
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, hold up.
I wasn't talking about the Black Lives Matter.
It's
protest.
A chopper. Oh, they're getting me started with TikTok. Yeah. God bless that app. That got me through quarantine. But anyways, but yeah, I agree.
Yes, we have in the last, and another thing is that the American people feel what's
entitlement?
Entitled. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So if you feel entitled and they give you these rights and they say, "Oh, you have this right," no second.
I have the right to.
You'll always have a group of going against it and going for it. Against it, it can never be in between. I have
the freedom to not wear a mask and die.
Exactly.
Or not wear a mask and kill somebody else by not wearing a mask and infecting them.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It's a give and take situation there. But I agree.
And then you have these stupid people going into the stores, and then, like, for example, Walmart. They go into the store. You have to wear a mask in the store because it's store policy.
Yeah.
They are paying the rent, and they are
providing the service.
They're providing the service.
In America, you can refuse a service
if you're not following. If you're not wearing a shirt, I'm gonna refuse your service.
They can do that
because that's one of the rules. Wear a shirt. So why are you so stupid, Karens? No offense, Karen.
Damn.
Why are you stupid, Karen? Or K+8 Karens.
Kevins too. The Karens and the Kevins.
Why are you protesting if you want to purchase something from Walmart or Target or anything like that? Yeah. That's what that mentality is so stupid.
Yeah, that's 100% true right there. Because I've seen people. Oh my God, I've seen people like literally. We had a guy that was upset because even though there's 3 signs that tell you can't come into the building unless you have a mask, he was still very upset that it was inconvenient for him to go and purchase a mask. Even though his friend told him, the friend that dropped him off, told him that he needed to get the mask from the back.
It's crazy. A lot of Karens would protest this, and they look ridiculous. Can I just say, Facebook and social media is having a field day with Karens all over the world or all over the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, on behalf of all the Karens, I would like to apologize.
But you know what? They're stupid.
No, I
don't.
If
they have the Karens, like the short haircut, they should have labeled the Kate.
Thank you.
K+8. Lady K+8 is a perfect definition of what
that's
a
where
Karen
the haircut
is.
came from.
But it's
the trend. But I mean, no, it came from the stupid comedian Dane Cook or whatever. That stupid joke. Oh, Karen. Anyways, whatever. I'm just angry that my name happens to be Karen, okay? With no middle name to fall back on. So just don't say my name. Just call me Kate, all right? But anyways, I see a little smirk over there. Anyways, how have you adapted to the changes by the pandemic?
Nothing.
You haven't adapted? I've adapted to the...
No, I have adapted.
The masks?
Greatly. Can I just say, yeah, I have adapted greatly. And I have... I have not snapped on anyone.
Oh, yeah. Actually, well, I guess we're in a more comfortable situation, though. Because I feel bad for the people with young kids.
Oh, my God, yes.
They must be going crazy.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that have, like, 4 kids.
Oh my God!
I can see it now.
I can see it now, and it's so funny because so when we went to our little niece and nephews,
oh yeah,
I can see how my brother and my sister-in-law, they were not.
I mean, they're doing great.
They're doing great, but you can tell they're tired. That they're exhausted.
They're tired, you know. So I can sympathize with people with children because it's just, and now imagine if you have kids that are older, like maybe 4, and I'm thinking not that old, like 4-year-olds to 8-year-olds.
Yeah, because
they, trust me, 4-year-olds do not shut up. They talk and talk and talk, and those little machines can talk your little ear off.
And that's why you have news people or weathermen or weather ladies that are doing the weather from their home, and the little kids are just going waving to the camera.
Oh Lord!
And this is hilarious.
But I mean, I guess it's
a
reality.
It's an adaptation, an adaptation. It's an adapting, being able to adapt to this.
And you know what they're saying is that millennials have actually adapted better than any of the other generations. Yeah. And I want to say Gen X too. Gen X and millennials have adapted the best because Gen Z, they're in their late teens, early 20s or mid 20s. The latest is mid 20s, but it really is early 20s. So for them, they're at the point where it's peak socializing. So for them, it has been brutal.
Oh yeah,
because they're like I said, it's peak socializing for them.
You know what's so sad is that, like, when you're graduating high school, you get to go to prom and you get to walk on stage. But this year it's just like
same with the college graduates. Now imagine you graduating after 4 years. And then basically not.
Oh, I had a college student who...
I mean, I didn't walk when I got my degrees, but that was a choice.
Yeah, he didn't walk during his undergraduate, but he was finishing up his graduate degree.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna actually go to commencement.
To?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a big deal. It's graduate school.
Yeah. Oh yeah, masters. Dang. That sucks.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, those are important events, especially like high school and stuff. Like, I feel bad for them, and they're not gonna get a do-over. It's unfortunately, really, it's like a once in a lifetime event.
But yeah, no,
it's not that big of a deal though. I mean, you don't really miss that much.
I mean, just as long as you get a hobby. And my hobby was to get better at sewing, especially with my sewing machine. So I've been practicing, and it's been going okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I guess for me, I've been lucky because we have been able to go back to the office. And you know, my favorite part of it is basically I finally get I get to ride around the golf cart.
Oh, whatever.
I'm doing my job though while riding around in the golf cart, but I mean, it's really nice to be outside, and then there's nobody there, so I don't really have to wear the mask, but I still wear it. But I mean, yeah, like it hasn't been bad, and you're right. Picking up a hobby, like I've taken up my book reading again because after a while, like after taking a break from like reading books for school related. I finally got back into it, and I actually felt like I enjoy it more. Like, it's nice to just disconnect. Honestly.
Yeah, like last week I didn't, because after working from home and just staring at the computer and your monitor, the last thing you want to do is get a device. or be in technology. So what I've ended up doing is I've actually started reading some of my college work, like coursework in literature. And that, because it does take literature, English literature is very difficult.
Well. So you agree it is difficult, you want?
For me to understand sometimes.
Okay, I'm just saying.
So I've been reading the Canterbury Tales. That's one that I truly enjoyed during my college years, but unfortunately because you only get 16 weeks of a course.
Yeah.
And it goes really fast.
And you can't, and the thing with literature is like you can't read it just to read it. Mm-hmm. You have to absorb it.
You have to understand it, and you have to absorb it, especially because if it's like, let's say it's in the medieval wording.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, it's difficult, but
thou there is, but what of? I'm like, what?
It's difficult, but it's enjoying right now. It's really good for me. Like, it's something different.
Like I've been reading The Ghost in the Machine, which basically is like it's kind of like a thesis, I guess, but it's really good. It's like about how, basically psychology, like how, and I think that's perfect for the current situation we're in.
Yeah.
And basically because it has to do with like artificial intelligence, and then how that, how does that become what it becomes because of us. It's pretty good. Like it makes you think, but like I said, it disconnects you from like computers and all that, especially since work from home. You have to set boundaries of when you're like on
when
and
you're
off.
gonna be on, when you're gonna go, if you have to clock in, if you have to clock out. So working on weekends versus working at weeknights. So you have to set a balance, and that's one thing that I want to advise everyone. Make sure that you dedicate enough time for yourself, because mentally, right now everything is changing around us.
We're very fragile.
Yes.
I would admit it. Like, it's getting to the point where you're like, I'm bored.
So if you have to, like myself, I created a little space. It's a little square where I just sit down in the middle of the night, like if I can't sleep.
Is it that chair? The chair that's by the next to your desk? My chair?
No, it's on the floor. It's, how I have a gray carpet.
Oh, okay.
So by my dressing area, I just sit there. I turn on the little light, and I just sit there and meditate.
Meditation's good though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to just close off this podcast so that we don't run it too long. I guess final thoughts is, where do we go now as a country? Like, elections coming up in November, and also I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know that we're thinking of doing a live broadcast for election. Maybe live, half not. It'll be like 30 minutes only. So I'll go ahead and put it on on my social media. And
by live, we mean pre-recorded.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be whatever. Anyways, yeah, pre-recorded. But it'll be cool. So let us know if you're interested in us doing that.
And where do we go as a country is determined by how we vote. You don't want another Trump administration term.
We can't do another 4 years.
We can't do another 4 years of this BS.
I'm going to let you know in advance that if he gets elected, I'm leaving. You won't go to Canada. I'll go to Europe. I have a connection in Europe now. So we can go from there. And then we'll see. You know what? Mom can go to Mexico. There you go. Rent out property from here. She can get that money, collect that money.
And do your census. People, do your census. They extended this already.
Please do your census, because that affects 100% what happens in your community where you live. Millennials
or Gen X, if you have parents that haven't done the census, just do it for them.
Yeah, it's really easy. And they made it easier this year.
Yeah, all you have to do is go online, and it takes between 3 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes took me, because I was like, wait a minute, I had to think stuff
double
through.
Checking,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really easy to do.
But it's really easy to do, and just do it.
I guess so. Going back to where do we go now as a country is basically just vote.
Yeah, just vote, and don't be stupid. Just wear a mask, because you're not.
And wash your hands. I'm surprised how many people haven't.
Yeah, they're little hamsters.
Apparently, Yvonne, and this I found out from people, because they're like, oh, that's the new normal. I'm like, so you're telling me you haven't been doing this from the beginning?
That's nasty.
So basically, a lot of people don't have or get in the habit of wiping down their workstations.
Oh, no,
like at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, I always thought you're supposed to wipe it down because before using it, you don't know who used it last, and then at the end of the day, so that whoever uses it after you. And that's on working where you're working with multiple people using the same device.
If you're working, even if not,
you still as a precaution.
No. And this is what I'm gonna tell you as a tale, in my experience.
Pink eye.
No, for me is, I noticed that I have an office, and custodial. I don't know how many times they go, but I know for a fact that they sit on my chair, because I found two gray hairs that were not mine, because red hair is not my color.
No.
Red and gray is not my color.
Like dark.
And I found fingerprints on my desk. Let me tell you, that day I had cleaned my entire desk, because especially during the fall, I hate flu season.
Yes.
So every day at the very end, at the very beginning and very end, it takes two hand sanitizer wipes, and I just clean my desk. I go over it, and I started doing that, but I knew that they were using my stuff.
So that's why it's always like, I always thought people would properly wipe down the stuff, but I guess.
And I was pissed. I locked my drawer and everything, but I just couldn't believe it. Invasion of privacy, I guess.
I mean, technically, it's not your office, so.
And it's but it's my chair.
It's not your chair either. Anyways, but yeah, so I guess this is the end of this podcast. But like I said,
yeah, just wear a mask and vote. That's all you can, and do the census. That's all you can do to better yourself. And forget everybody else. And don't trust anyone.
And if all else fails, then you can always start looking to flee to Canada, Europe, or Mexico. Honestly, I think we would be fare well in Mexico, Canada, or Europe. Either or, it don't matter. But like I said, well, with that, I guess we're going to go ahead and close this out. And like I said, just let us know if you're interested in us doing a pre-program, aka live pre-program or pre-recorded election night podcast, or no, what is it? Program, just like an actual live video, whatever it is.
And then comment below
podcast ideas.
Yeah, podcast ideas, and not only that, but if you have an idea of where do we go now as a country.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear what the feedback is from feedback. Now, with that said, I also want to bring in another, like, if you want to, I guess, volunteer yourself to give your 2 cents on our podcast, definitely let me know. Reach out to me or Yvonne, and let us know if you're interested in being a guest in our podcast. And with that said, I guess that's how. Wait, I guess until next time then.
Yes, until next time.